Coming up on Inside the Summit League, taking the high-flying sport of volleyball and bringing it down to the ground in Fort Wayne. In Denver, the women's soccer team kicking it around with kids in support of Special Olympics. College basketball predictions are out already. Two national magazines say that the Jackrabbits are the men's team to beat in the Summit League this year. And the somewhat controversial concept of cost of attendance. What is it exactly and why do it? We'll hear from one Summit League school committed to paying a little extra to scholarship athletes. Hello, welcome to the show. And a pair of Summit League men's soccer teams continue to rise this week in the national rankings. Denver moving up in the top 15 in the Coaches Association poll this week. The Pioneers were in New York on Saturday. New York City posted a very cool team selfie there, and then they went out and beat St. John's 2-1 that evening. And in that match, Chandler Crossweight of Denver earned himself Player of the Week honors. Crossweight with an assist on a goal by Cole Stevenson in the second half, and then the game winner in the 97th minute as Denver moves its record now to 4-0-1 on the season. Omaha is the other Summer League team making a run at the rankings. The Mavs getting votes again this week in the coaches poll. Omaha took its first loss of the season at Marquette on Friday, but came back to beat DePaul 3-2 on Sunday. And Jesus Perez assisted on two of those three goals in that match. He is the defensive player of the week. Omaha, by the way, is 5-1, off to the best start in school history. And the Mavs will host Bradley this Saturday. Elsewhere in the league in men's soccer, Fort Wayne is 3-3 on the season right now. The Mastodons took care of business against Asbury University of Kentucky in a match on Friday. Kyle Hoagland with his first goal of the season for Fort Wayne. And then Darren Doyle, nice kick ahead to Jacob Murphy. And Murphy with an early second half goal. It's his first goal of this season. And the Dons win 6-0, and they put together a little 3-game win streak.
And we got a lot of offense going. We had a little trouble in the first half and the final third putting the ball in the net, but things kind of came together, and we're proud of the guys. They're working hard and finding ways to score. Yeah, Zach Tom did great. He's a very crafty player in the midfield, and we look for him to start a lot of our attacks and get us in. And he got a first goal tonight, and I think an assist, another goal. So yeah, he did real well. We're proud of him, and I think he's just scratching the surface. So once he gets a little more comfortable in there, we're looking for big things from him.
Well, Zach Tom is a freshman from Fort Wayne. He sports the very fashionable man bun in his hair when he plays soccer. And if you are under the age of 30, you probably don't remember the Saturday Night Live character Ed Grimley, played by actor Martin Short. But am I wrong when I say that Zach Tom and Ed Grimley look a little bit alike? I am wrong on that? Okay, just wondering. I think they look similar. Anyway, up next, what is sitting volleyball and why are they playing it in Fort Wayne? It's a good reason and a good story coming up.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort, Dakota Land Honda, and South Dakota Corn. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau, and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Now to volleyball, and the Summit League regular season gets started next weekend. Preseason favorite Denver will open up at Fort Wayne, and IPFW is getting ready for that, obviously, but the Dons are also taking some time right now to focus their fans on the game of sitting volleyball, which, yes, is an actual sport.
Tonight is the first session of our sitting volleyball series, and basically what we're trying to do is grow the game a little bit, give back to the community through sitting volleyball. We're good at volleyball, we know the game, so we thought, why not try sitting volleyball and make it something that we have in our community. Sitting volleyball is an adaptive version of regular volleyball, and basically the big difference is you play on a lower net and you sit instead of stand. Otherwise, most of the rules are the same, and it's a great way for disabled or adaptive athletes to play volleyball. What we're trying to do is just get the Fort Wayne community familiar with the sport, get our athletes familiar with the sport, and see if we can spread it in the community and get some of our, adaptive sports, adaptive athletes in the community playing sitting volleyball, and just see if we can grow the sport a little bit. We've been playing it now here with the team, trying to get good at it so that we can help grow it, and we're having a lot of fun with it. It's a great game, and anybody who wants to come out, we're out here from 6 to 8 every other Wednesday, so anybody's welcome. We're just trying to expose people to the sport and get people playing. First of all, it's a sport that's growing in popularity, and it's a Paralympic sport. So what we're hoping to do is just get people in the community doing it. When I was visiting a good buddy of mine who's a volleyball coach over in Scotland, we were at a gym and we were playing volleyball, and on the court next to us was a sitting volleyball court, and I happened to notice several people come in, and some were adaptive athletes and some were able-bodied, and they just sat down all together and started playing. I thought that was really cool. It was really inclusive. It was really easy to play. They didn't need much equipment, and I thought that's something I'd really like to do back in Fort Wayne. So here we are now, and I'm just trying to get the ball rolling here.
Well, as Coach Florio said, he and his team are hosting sitting volleyball sessions at the Gates Center every other Wednesday. They have 2 more left on October 14th and October 28th, and everyone is invited to those. Well, Fort Wayne has the Defensive Player of the Week this week in volleyball. Olivia Han, a junior from Fort Wayne. She was a digging machine in 4 matches at the Indiana State Invitational. She had 29 digs in a 4-set win against Tennessee Martin. Han leads the Summer League right now with 4.71 digs per set. Logan Walling at IUPUI is the Offensive Player of the Week. She hit a very nice .338 for the week. She hit .571 in 1 match and had 8 kills in a win over Youngstown State. And the Jaguars now have won 4 of their last 5 matches. Well, up next, why would a school give an athlete more money on top of their athletic scholarship? We'll tell you why next.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort, Dakota Land Honda, and South Dakota Corn. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau, and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Welcome back. Earlier this month, David Herbster, the athletic director at the University of South Dakota, announced that starting next year, USD will provide cost of attendance payments to scholarship athletes. Now, in essence, this extra money, up to $4,000 a year at the University of South Dakota, it's intended to bridge the gap between what a scholarship pays for and the actual total cost of going to school. The thinking is that being a scholarship athlete is a full-time commitment, and it prevents athletes from working during the school year to earn extra money. And Herbster says for that and for other reasons, paying cost of attendance is the right thing to do.
Since the NCAA made the decision and changed the definition of what full cost of attendance and how that would equate to an athletic scholarship, it's been on probably the desk of every athletic director to evaluate this and determine, is that something that's viable for their own athletic program. And once you look at not only our situation but our commitment to our student athletes, it wasn't that long ago that we were sitting at 105 scholarships still in Division II, and we're now at 187 scholarships, and we made that investment in our student athletes. And we look at this new opportunity to provide the resources for our student athletes as our further commitment to those students, and really for our willingness to compete and to win at this level. So, while there are other schools that have made the commitment in 1 sport or 2 sports or 3 sports, we thought it was for our vision and for what we believe here, that doing it across the board was the most equitable, fair way to do it.
So, starting in the fall of 2016, South Dakota will start making extra payments to athletes in all 17 sports, from basketball to golf to swimming to volleyball. The total amount paid to each individual may vary, but it could add up to just over $4,000 per year for some. It is money intended to pay for all the little extra expenses that every college student has, like laundry or academic supplies or travel home to see family.
So you're going to have your tuition fees, room, board, books, and that's one. And traditionally, that's what the NCAA defined as what we could offer as a scholarship. Campuses define full cost of attendance. They look at all those incidentals that it takes to be a student in that particular area, and whether it's the cost of living in that area, the typical transportation, whether it be distances or what modes to do it to get to and from the campus, all those other things that go into being a college student, all those other economic factors are factored into that full cost of attendance. Now that's what campuses use to determine students' eligibility for financial aid, both federal and institutional financial aid.
Well, there is the possibility, of course, for schools to take advantage or abuse their ability to pay extra. The thought that athletic programs could use cost of attendance payments as a weapon in recruiting has certainly been discussed. But Herbster believes that once all other schools in the league and around the country decide what they will offer, that cost of attendance competition, so to speak, will be a secondary issue.
Hope is that a student does not choose one school over another because they can get another $100 from one institution versus another. Ultimately, this is just one avenue for us to provide for our student athletes. I look at what we offer as an entire campus. The full cost of attendance is more or less kind of a singular approach or one singular aspect of why folks come here, why students choose USD. I would like to think it's us providing not only an athletic scholarship, now that it would include full cost of attendance, but you look at our facilities, you look at this campus, and you look at the academic programs that we have on campus. All those things put together should create the entire and the total package of why someone comes here.
Well, South Dakota joins North Dakota State. North Dakota State was the first Summer League school to announce that they will provide cost of attendance starting next season. Well, here are your Summit League athletes of the week in cross country, both from South Dakota State. Rachel King, a freshman from St. Michael, Minnesota. She was 9th overall at the Oz Memorial at the University of Minnesota. And on the men's side, Jackrabbit senior Trent Lusignan won that Minnesota meet, the Oz Memorial. He ran the league's fastest time as well of the season so far in the 6K, 18 minutes, 40.6 seconds for Trent Lusignan. Well, Summer League swim teams get their seasons started next month, and it is amazing what you can do with a GoPro camera these days. As we go to break, here is IUPUI messing around in and out of the pool. The Jags will host the Summer League Championships again coming up next year in February. And we've got women's soccer coming up next.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort, Dakota Land Honda, and South Dakota Corn. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau, and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Now to women's soccer, and this sport is ultra competitive within the state of Colorado. With the University of Denver and Northern Colorado and Air Force and Colorado State, they like to get after each other in soccer. But all these teams came together on the field recently to spend some time with each other and with some special kids. Here is Marissa Belzer with the story.
It's not often members of the University of Denver's women's soccer team take the field with 5 other teams, and especially not with teams full of their closest competition. But DU and 5 other Colorado teams put aside their differences to host the first Special Olympics Colorado Cup Clinic.
This whole event was kind of a dream that started. Bill Hempen and I got together and he said, what if we can get this going and kind of create a soccer day in the state of Colorado. He's done a tremendous job of just taking everything by the reins and not letting it die, and not only not letting it die, but building it into what it is now and what it is today. We added the Special Olympics this year, which has been fantastic. Our athletes are having a great time. The Special Olympics kids, boys and girls, are having a fantastic time.
Team members from all 6 schools helped lead stations while roughly 40 participants practiced their skills.
I think it's awesome that these kids get to come out here and play with us at this level, and they have fun, and it's just a good way to give back to the community.
The competition between the 6 Colorado teams can get pretty intense on the pitch, but not this time around. Everyone's focus was on helping the Special Olympians enjoy their time at the Colorado Cup Clinic.
It's actually kind of nice just to talk to them outside of soccer. You really don't see much of them. I don't know a lot of them.
There was 2 girls, one from our team and one from CSU we play tomorrow, and they're best friends. And they you know, I went over to them and they didn't want to hug, they didn't want to shake hands, and I made them do that because, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, as a former professional athlete and college player, that's what we did as well. You know, the day before a game, the day after a game's finished, you know, you were hanging out talking to that person and you were allowed to be friends again. You know, they just kind of made a motto as we will like each other today, but tomorrow we won't for 90 minutes. So I think they're taking that well. You see them at first, they're a little bit guarded, and as things get going, everybody lets their guard down, and the cool inner personalities of these athletes just kind of come out, and they're having a great time.
The Pioneers know the importance of giving back to the community who supports them, so spending some of their day off giving back is a reflection of DU's values.
There's not anybody out here that's not smiling. So, you know, for us to have a day to give back to the community, and I know it's difficult for the athletes when they think about it because, you know, you just played a game the day before. It wasn't the best game for us. The result wasn't good, and now we got to go in and we got to battle against the players that we're helping with in the clinic. So they've done a great job of that. We've seen smiles and hugs and everything out here. So I think today is a day about being a great citizen and being a great DU athlete and give it back to the community.
Sometimes we get so caught up in just all the fast stuff that's going on, and it's just nice to take a step back and realize that we have an amazing life, and these kids are so great, and they're out here giving their all, and it's just awesome to be here.
And our thanks to Marissa for that story. What a beautiful night in Denver on Friday for Denver hosting the University of Colorado in that match that Coach Hooker mentioned, and several beautiful saves on the night for Denver keeper Cassidy Ray as well. Well, here is some of that competitiveness between these two teams. Colorado player going right at and into Ray just outside the net, and they wave off that goal. But Colorado does get one in the 74th minute on a rocket from the top of the box, and the Buffs beat the Pioneers in this one 1-0. Meanwhile, in Fargo, horns up on Friday with North Dakota State hosting North Dakota. And Sierra Bonham in goal for the Bison had a great week. She was stopping everything in this match. Roxy Romer with a great chance to end this thing in regulation, but just misses there. And the Bison had plenty of chances as well as that one. Lauren Miller with a shot, and that's close, but not quite. And then Jenna Joyce with a blast that goes just over the top. How about Amy Yang? And that one's off the crossbar. And then this one is even closer. Yang again, but no, and they go to double overtime with no score. And finally, in the 107th minute of the match, Miller feeds Romer, and that is the dramatic golden goal, and North Dakota State wins it 1-0. And the Bison followed this one up with a 3-2 win over Iowa State on Sunday. Well, in Tulsa, meanwhile, Oral Roberts is first in the league standings right now with a 4-1-2 record. The Golden Eagles take down Indiana State on Sunday afternoon. Megan Guico with a first-half goal for ORU, and the match is tied 1-1 at the break. And then Brittany Lawrence gets herself free. Kayla Keller pushes it ahead, and Lawrence with the first of 2 second-half goals for her. And Oral Roberts beats Indiana State 3-1. And Lawrence is the league's offensive player of the week. 2 goals in that match. She had 7 points overall in 3 games. And Lawrence is third in the league right now with 9 points through the first 7 matches. Sierra Bonham saw her in the net for North Dakota State. She is the defensive player of the week. 4 saves in that shutout against North Dakota, and then 10 more in the win over Iowa State. Bonham is second in the league right now in total saves with 45 through 7 matches. We got basketball when we come back. Another Summer League star is headed overseas to play some pro hoops, and there are already some preseason predictions flying around out there. We'll check out those next.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort, Dakota Land Honda, and South Dakota Corn. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau, and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Welcome back to Inside the Summit League. Last week we had a long list of former Summit League basketball players who are getting ready to continue their careers in pro leagues overseas. And this week we can add former IUPUI women's standout Nevena Markovic to that list. She has signed to play in Spain with a team that I can't pronounce, but it's in the Liga Femenina, which is the highest women's league in Spain. The 6'4" Markovic was top 6 all-time at IUPUI in rebounds and in block shots, and she scored more than 1,100 points in her career with the Jaguars. Well, for all you basketball freaks out there who just cannot wait for this season, and it's coming fast, there are actual magazines out right now with actual preseason predictions for Summit League men's basketball. Lindy's is one of them. Athlon is the other. Both of them say that South Dakota State will win the regular season title. Both publications have the Jackrabbits first, North Dakota State second, Oral Roberts third, IPFW fourth, and South Dakota in the top 5. One magazine has Obi Omegano of Oral Roberts as the preseason player of the year. The other one has DeAndre Parks of South Dakota State as the player of the year. Both magazines have Parks and his teammate George Marshall of South Dakota State on their first 5, along with Omegano and Garrett Covington of Western Illinois. They both agree on that. Athlon has those 4 joined by A.J. Jacobson of North Dakota State in the first 5, and Lindy's has them joined by Trey Burnett at the University of South Dakota. So let the speculation begin. The start of the basketball season is only about 5 weeks away, by the way, and tickets go on sale soon for the Summit League Basketball Championships Tournament in Sioux Falls. There is a pre-sale coming up on September 28th. It's for those who have previously bought tournament tickets online, and then on October 3rd, it opens up for everybody to buy tickets to the Summit League Basketball Championships coming up in March in Sioux Falls. And we will see you next week on Inside the Summit League.